Hello, this is going to be a draft analysis. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a draft of a draft analysis. Kind of a first run that I'm just doing. We'll see if it's good enough to get around. Uh, I'm not putting this up for consumption other than in the GP crew chat, so I'm not really that worried about coming across as a internet personality. So let's just do this. So far in this draft, the only pick that I actually know about is Ugin, so let's see how the rest of it ended up. Hey, stop moving your source, alright? Making me look bad. It's not me. Okay, so here's the Ugin. Alright, I'm gonna have to be a bit better about this. Alright, so, I mean, looking at this pack, yeah, I would pick the Ugin. I think most people would pick the Ugin. Ugin is such a bomb. It might be the best card to ramp to in limited ever. It's just that good. The, it board wipes. It has a million loyalty. It pluses deal damage to any target. Like it's damn near unbeatable once it lands, unless your opponent happens to have colorless creatures. The next best card in the pack is the Seasoned Hallowblade. That card is like better than a lot of rares. It's very good. It's indestructible, so strong and limited, and there's so many ways to just like slap a citizen training on that thing, and then your opponent just can't ever win. Or a rousing read, like it's just insane. But yeah, so I take the Ugin and pretty. He looks pretty happy about it. All right. So this next pack. So once you have an Ugin, obviously the thing you're looking for the most is ramp, and there's only really Palladium Mirror as ramp in non-green colors, so you're gonna want to be in green. As far as ramp in green, Llanowar Visionary is, I think, the only common one. But there's also Cultivate and the Green Shrine, an uncommon that you can get. Uh, so with that in mind, like wanting to be in green, I'd probably go for the Fungal Rebirth here. Fungal Rebirth is a very powerful card. Uh, just regrowthing any permanent from your graveyard. Like in most cases, it's gonna be a Raise Dead, but sometimes you'll snag an enchantment or something like that. But being able to get two 1/1s out of the deal is very strong, and it's an instant, so it's not hard to have a creature die. But let's see what Nick goes for. Tempered Veteran is also a very good card, but it's a bit at odds with the Ugin plan. Looking at the Fungal Rebirth. Yeah, and he takes it. Alright, good man, good man. Okay, next. Not like Gnarled Sage is a decent green card. I like it a fair amount, but we're not picking a green card here. We're stretching out, and the question is where. So when you're ramping, a good idea is to also be in blue for card selection because if you draw, the problem with ramp decks is that they can draw a ton of ramp and no payoffs, or their payoff and no way to get to it. So I generally like to be in blue green for my ramp decks, but in this case, Nick has the option of two different removal spells: Eliminate and Shock. Uh, I'd probably go with the Eliminate myself. I don't think anything else here is enticing. Like Spellgorger Beard is a very good card, but I don't think it's where this deck is looking right now. If I was to go into blue, just to force what I think is the best colors for a ramp deck, I would pick the Teferi's Protege. Oh man, Nick, I wish I had audio for this. I want to hear you sing while you draft. Okay, so yeah, the Eliminate gets picked, and good one. Now here, ooh, so Obsessive Stitcher is like uh, Fairy's Protege, except it, doesn't cost anything to activate and can reanimate something. So that's a very good card. I'm not entirely sure if I would want to go into three colors right now. Uh, though tossing Fungal Rebirth to be in blue black, like that's not that bad. So I would probably pick the Stitcher here, though I can see picking Deathbloom Thallid as like the stay in my colors option. Looking at the Capture Sphere, but if I'm picking a blue card, I'm picking the Obsessive. Oh no! He picked the Capture Sphere over the Obsessive Stitcher. Okay. Alright. So pick four, and we've got off at least my rails. Now I hope that this doesn't end up with a very janky Sultai deck, but we'll see. Capture Sphere is a great card. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm picking a blue card, I'd rather not pick that back. Okay, next we've got a bunch of not great pickups. Here, like I don't like Bad Deal. It's too damn expensive, and opponent discarding two cards at 6 mana. Like, what are the chances that they're even gonna have two cards to discard? It's not really what I want to be doing. Blind Master is okay, but I wouldn't pick it. Lofty Denial in Sultai is most likely just going to be a Force Spike. Like, you really want white for because they have a bunch of common flyers if you're going to play Lofty Denial. Uh, but I think the pick here is probably just Forgotten Sentinel. Like, colorless cards so that you can board wipe with Ugin with impunity and not only have Ugin but also have Forgotten Sentinel. It also makes it so that if you have to Ugin -7, because there are a few very good 7 drops in this set, that, you still have a board. It becomes a Doom Blast at that point, which is still amazing. I wouldn't pick the Radiant Fountain here if you plan on being 3 colors. Oh, just 2 colors, I would pick it though. Run out of time. Looking at. Thought about the bad deal. Oh, he's taking the bad deal. I think that's gonna be a bad deal. Yeah, like that card needs a lot for it to be great, and heck, it even needs a decent amount for it to be good. Like, if you're only making them discard 1 card, like that's not an effect I'm paying 6 mana for. Like, draw 2 is a 3 mana effect. Lose 2 life is not super relevant. And chances are, if people are holding a card that late, it's going to be a land. He's looking at the Scythe. Interesting. I still haven't played with the Scythe, so maybe it's way better than I think it is. It's like a short sword that on steroids. Uh, I'm not too sure that maybe how the deck will end up will have a bunch of like trading going on. I'm not sure, but in this case, I would pick another Capture Sphere for the Unsubstantiate. Uh, probably will pick the Unsubstantiate there. I generally like to bury cards. If if I'm looking between two cards I think are fairly equal, I like to take the one that I don't have already. That's generally how I like to construct my limited decks. Is give myself the most varied options, especially if I have a bunch of card draw and card selection, to try to mold the game in my favor. But yeah, so far he's got 0 creatures. That's pretty sweet. And looks like he's probably not picking up another creature here. Uh, like you could pick up the Gloom Sower as another thing to ramp to, but you have no ramp just yet. I would pick either the Dismal Backwater or the Wall of Runes. Wall of Runes to survive. Backwater to have decent mana. These haven't been great packs. There's been very little, not very many creatures in these colors. So I think that Nick might be getting cut. But assuming he just stays blue-black, like this is a decent start. 3 removal spells and a defender. That has the makings of a good control deck. And the train is pulled into the station with 5 packs. Don't recognize any of those names. I'm not too up to date with other Magic streamers and whatnot. Okay. So here, Meteorite is not the worst option here. I don't like the card very much because it's so damn expensive. But if you're trying to get to an Ugin, like spending 5 spending your turn 5 to shock something and then getting it out earlier, like that's not that bad. I would either pick that or the Snare Spinner, just in case I do end up being green. Snare Spinner is a very good defensive early card. Make sure you don't just die to some random flyers. He's probably gonna pick the Silent Dart here, which I think is wrong, but hey. He picked the Meteor, right? Great. And oh dear, we've got another bad deal. He's looking at the Sky Scanner. I hope he picks it. He looks shocked that the Sky Scanner is this late. It's not that great of a card. I mean, I like it in the deck that he's trying to pull off here, but like it's not that crazy that it's pick 9 or whatever. Ooh, I take Skeleton Archer here. Yeah. Epitaph Gold is really fun to loop the bottom of your library to win, but run that. Rookie mistake here. Infernal's Guardian is not a card I ever like playing. Picking the Tapper for the sideboard, interesting. PC Thal there. I like it better than an additional Wall of Runes, and Tavern Swindler is only playable if you're in the Game 3 archetype. Here I'd pick the Radiant Fountain. Yeah. Duress, sure. And last pick, Double Raise Dead. Okay. So, at this point, a thing that I like to do a lot is decide, okay, what's the best common I can open that like will really help tie the deck together. This is more important going into pack 3 as just a mental exercise for myself, but I like to do it for every pack when I'm taking things like super seriously. In this case, it's tough because my heart leans Llanowar Visionary because you still want to ramp and draws you a card. It's a 2/2 body. It's like everything you want, and this deck isn't quite pulled towards any particular color super hard. So I'd say that, but I don't know even if green is going to be the card that going to be the color that he's going to be in. I mean, Primal Might is an insane card. Not the best in what's looking like a control deck, but it's still an insane card that I wouldn't be surprised if he picks here. He might also pick Read the Tides. I think is the option if you want to abandon green. I don't think. Okay, he's picking a Sky Scanner. I think he likes that card way too much, but that's neither here nor there. Ooh, okay. Now this is actually all right. Now we have an actual like super tough pick because there's a finishing blow here, which is no questions asked. Good instant speed removal. Single black, so you can throw it in a lot of different decks. Uh, Now the card looks extremely appealing. I mean, look at Nick's face right now. He's very happy about this fact. But the thing that you want to like keep in mind is that you want removal, yes, but you don't want too much expensive removal because you already have two capture spheres and are likely to be playing blue. I mean, you by not picking up the primal way, you're kind of giving up on green. Uh, like I wouldn't be looking at, oh hey, a fishing blow, awesome, I'm gonna take that, no questions asked. Here, looking at Tolarian Kraken and Waker of Waves, I think the pick is between one of those two. Tolarian Kraken is an extremely powerful card, especially if you have uh, looters as ways to tap down your opponent's creatures and just like buy you a bunch of time. But in this case, I would pick the Waker of Waves because if you have a bunch of mana, it's an incredible card. 7/7, making your opponent's creatures smaller. That's great. Or you can just like use it as a sleight of hand, basically, which is incredible. Uh, and this is the point where I wish he had that obsessive stitcher because that and Waker of Waves is just a insane combo. Like you can, well, I mean, it's not an insane combo because Waker of Wave gets itself in the graveyard, but a reanimation spell on a creature that powerful, that's just a good time. So I would pick the Waker, but we'll see what he does. He's thinking about it, thinking about this pick. Yeah, all right. See, Nick knows what he's doing. Okay, now here, oh, he instantly snaps off that Pestilent Haze pick, which I think is, I think that's a good move. Like, if he's trying to survive, like, one of the worst things that can happen is somebody plays like 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, and just starts the beat down. And like, there's a fair amount of pretty good, pretty small toughness creatures in this set, so yeah, I think that's a very strong pick. Frantic Inventory, uh, Pack 2 is a bit late to be getting into that. Like, you definitely want this. You definitely want at least 2 copies of Frantic Inventory in your deck to play Frantic Inventory. The project's also good. He instantly picks the Tide Skimmer here. Now, he doesn't have any other creatures with flying at the moment, and Tide Skimmer on its own, 2/3 flyer for 4 mana, those stats just aren't good enough for me to be happy about playing that. Considering that he has multiple capture spheres, I might be looking at cancel here. Uh, and because turn 4 being able to leave up capture sphere or cancel, that's decent. Uh, I'm, I'll, this is the kind of deck where I probably would play off, but I'm not looking to pick that up here. I would take the cancel here, but we'll see if he decides to go with the Tide Skimmer. He does. Okay. I mean, just because he doesn't have any flyers now doesn't mean he won't pick up any in the future. Like, there was a Fetid Imp earlier that he might want to pick. Well, hopefully come back around. And Mistral Singer is pretty good too. I don't know if there's any 2-drop blue flyers in this set. At least a common. I don't think there is. Anyways, next pack. And here I'm taking the Vidalian Arcanist like 10 times out of 10. Because it blocks, it survives Pestilent Haze, uh, ramps you to bad deal. Uh, I do not want to pick up something like a Blood Glutton right now because that's just too expensive. And Walking Corpse I never want to play. Counting the instants and sorceries right now. That's good. And again, I'm not playing Lofty Denial uh, with the deck I have right now. I think Vidalian Arcanist is the safe pick, and he doesn't go for it. Okay. So, that's fine. He could just pick up more flyers. Okay, so here I'm not picking up another Capture Sphere. I would, looking at stuff, I would probably pick up another Thallid here. Oh, he picks the Opt. Okay. Interesting. I'll rather than the Thallid blocking twice is great. But this pick he's somewhat rewarded with a Mistral Singer. That's key to what he's been doing with the Lofty Denial and Tideskipper pickup. Read the Tides and Wall of Runes are other options, but yeah, Mistral Singer is just great. It's better in an aggressive deck for sure. It doesn't block amazingly well unless you have a lot of instants, but that's fine. Okay, so yes, okay, he's picking up the Rewind here. And because he has two Capture Spheres, like, that's kind of cool, but I really dislike 4-mana counter spells. Even if you get the blowout of like Rewind, Capture Sphere, awesome. Like in this case, I would just pick up the Jumbo Hollow and look to try to splash a green or something like that. Okay, at least he's putting it on the sideboard. At least like realizes that like I'm hoping he's realizing here that 4-mana counter spells are a bit much. It's very difficult to leave up 4 mana and get wrecked when your opponent doesn't play into it. This is an easy read the tides. I'd probably just pick up another Lofty Denial here. I don't like Prismite that much. Just putting the Rewind back. Okay, at least putting the Read the Tides back too. That card's, that card's good. Like, I'd much rather play the Read the Tides over the Bad Deal. There's a lot about how I feel about Bad Deal. Okay, well, I would have taken the Fierce Empath there. Like, the chance of you playing the 4 power red archetype as on splash is not high, whereas Fierce Empath grabbing some big guys like a Waker of Waves or some other big creature, that might actually happen. Well, he's got another Furious Rise. Yeah, Return to Nature. Fine pick up there. Blood Glutton, I would hope that doesn't end up in the final deck. Another Radiant Fountain's pretty good. Epitaph Golem isn't great, but it is a card. So yeah, at this point, it looks like he's very much gone for the blue-black, but he's got so few early drops. Like, he's got enough threes to like play and have board presence, but he really needs 2 drops here. So, like, the commons that I want to pick up here, I think Vidalian Arcanist is pretty high up there. The most is probably Fetid Imp. Like, I think that fits with what Nick wants to be doing the most. It blocks well because it has given Death Touch, turns on his Lofty Denials and his Tide Skimmer later, and is a thing he can play early. Here, I think the pick is the Kitesail Freebooter, which also fits in with a lot of what he wants to be doing. So I think he must be picking the Freebooter here. I don't see why he would pick anything else. Yeah. All right. Freebird is a very nice pickup here. Like Jeskai Elder is that's better in like a blue red deck where you can get through. Okay, he's picking up another Tide Skimmer here. Okay, well he was looking at picking up another Tide Skimmer here. They do get better at multiples. So he's looking at Opt. Ooh, and Lano. He's probably the Llanowar Visionary as well. In a sideboard, yeah. At this point, I would pick the Visionary. Like the other, he has no way. Don't pick. Well, okay. I was going to say don't splash green for fixing. This isn't fixing. This is ramp. But yeah, it's tough. If he had picked up the uh, the land earlier and the Primal Might, then this would be a snap Visionary pick. But I think it might be best just to stay the course, stay blue black, and pick up what I think would be the Tide Skimmer here. Now he's starting to actually get more of a critical mass of flyers. Looking at the opt. Yeah, alright, there we go. Picking up the Tide Skimmer. Okay. So now we got a lot of black cards, and he's picked the Gourmand. And Gourmand is a very good card, don't get me wrong. He doesn't have the most stuff sacrificed to it, though. Well, okay. We got like Wall of Runes, Deathbloom Thallid, Sky Scanner. He's got a few, so I think that's a fine pickup. It's another expensive card, which is a problem. Like, if you pick the Gourmand here, I don't think you can pick any other expensive cards over cheap cards, even if they're replacing something else expensive they have that you think is better. Like, would be better for your deck overall. Like, you can pick the Gourmand here, but then you have to pick early drops. Standard Bear is cool, but I don't know. Control deck doesn't really want to be playing a 3-1. Die under your control, like he doesn't have that many creatures to die, so yeah, that's good. Carrion Grub. Okay. That is a very cool card because he has Waker of Waves, and in his deck, it's most likely going to be like a 2/5, uh, which is okay. Milling 4 cards is risky when you don't have any ways of getting stuff back, really. I think he has Sanguine, whatever the heck, in the side, but I would not play that. And I just hope he doesn't mill any Ugins with that. Uh, I think it's still the pick. I wouldn't pick Chrome Replicator. He doesn't have enough uh, of the same things. And Masked Blackguard, like that's a pick that I would probably play as an early drop, but I would not be remotely happy about that. Okay, so here we've got the Sanctum, and Big's very happy about that. The Sanctum, it's better in aggressive decks because it's just like such a great tool for racing. So like this is a control deck. You're not interested in racing, so you're really picking that as a 2 mana gain 1 life every turn. I wouldn't play that. Uh, I would. I don't think there's anything else great in the pack like Mass Blackguard maybe. Library Larcenist, I only like if you have Rousing Reed in your deck. He's got the Sanctum. Oh, picks up another freebooter here. That's awesome. So he was also like happy about the opt, I guess. I don't know. Extra freebooters, very good. Mass. Okay, so he's looking at taking the Mass Blackguard for the side, and with the cards here, yeah, I would still pick that. Instead of having the Wishcoin Crab, and with the deck as it stands, I don't think I'm playing either. The Wishcoin Crab is pretty better stats for its cost than you might think. I haven't done like really like run the numbers and looked at what's uh what the good stuff in uh, words, what the like average power and toughness is in this set, but whatever. We just hid the meteorite, which I think might be great. And a third radiant fountain, which sure, I don't think he was playing any of the other cards. So ooh, don't put away Wall of Runes. What are you doing? You're a control deck. Oh no. Building his deck now, kind of. Uh, I picked the Megalodon here over the Skeleton Archer. Like, yeah, you have a ton of high drops and you're probably not playing either. I'd still pick the big boy. Okay. Here, yeah, pick up a frantic inventory. I don't think there was any more that could wheel, but you get lucky and grab another one. Like, I would definitely play two of those over like Opt or whatever. I wouldn't play any of these cards, so it's kind of moot. Rookie mistake. Okay, I'm probably not playing that card. It's a cool trick, but it works better when you have, stuff to block with. Again, like, probably not playing either of those. Ooh, Mind Rod. Hmm. That might get in there. We'll have to see. Well, maybe not. We'll have to see when the actual build gets here. Alright, so let's stop here. And let's see how I would build what I have here. Oh, so he instantly started taking away lands. Okay, interesting. So this is 24 cards. Now, I don't think this is an 18 lander because I like playing 18 landers when I have uh, very obvious ways of card advantage, like divination or multiple frantic inventories. As of right now, like no ways to really like get through your deck except for the tide skimmers and the read the tides, which are fairly expensive ways of doing that. Like I really don't want to get flooded, so I'm not playing 18 lands. So I think this is 17 landers, so 23 cards. From what's here right now, I would cut the rewind, and I would look at getting. And the only other thing to look at, I think, is whether or not to get the Mind Rod in, and the Meteorite. So I would. Let's go through this curve by curve. So I would play the Opt. Definitely need to be able to dig a little bit for the cards that you actually need. I would play the Lofty Denials, obviously the Eliminate and the Freebooters. I wouldn't play the Sanctum, not in this deck. Like, you need to be taking advantage of both your opponent's life loss and your life gain to make use of this when it's your only shrine. If you have multiple shrines in your deck, then you're played every time, but just the one, no thanks. All the threes I like. Two Sky Scanners, I would like that less, but if you didn't have, the multiple Lofty Denials, multiple Tide Skimmers, I guess I did forget about the Sky Scanners when talking about the Tide Skimmer and Lofty Denial pickups earlier. That is my bad, so Nick is smarter than me. You got me on that one. The fours, I don't like the rewind, and I'm not thrilled about the Skeleton Archer. Blood Glutton, that's a maybe. Like, it blocks well. Like if you trade this off for like a 3/3 and you gain 4 life, like that lets you get to the end game. And all of the expensive cards I like. So if we're cutting three cards: the Sanctum, the Rewind, and the Skeleton Archer. The cards I would put in would be the Wall of Runes, definitely. I think you need to play the Wall of Runes in the deck to A, block until you get your big stuff, and B, have another good sack outlet for Gourmand. And as far as the last card that I would play, I would look at either the Mind Rot, the Meteorite, or one of the Blackguards, because still don't have that many early drops. And in this case, I would probably pick the Blackguard. Yeah, I would probably play Blackguard, and one of the reasons for that is the double Lofty Denial. So even if you either can't counter a spell with it or don't want to counter a spell with it, you can slam a Blackguard. It's an expensive pump for it, but it'll still like help you stay alive, which is what you want. Like double Capture Sphere, double Tide Skimmer with one, two, three, four, five other flyers to draw cards, and read the tides to bounce creatures or get ahead. Gourmand, Waker of Waves, Ugin. Like I think the high end in this deck is very very strong, so you just want to get there. And trading one for one with Masked Blackguard on like a 3-1, like a Daybreak Charger or something like that, that helps you get there. So that's how I would personally build it. We'll see what he does. The other question is how many Radiant Fountains to play, and I think one is a must. Two, hmm, I would probably play two and then play an 8/7 Swamp Island mana base, because like I said, if if I'm getting rid of the rewind, the only double color spells I have are 6 drops and above, which I mean, hope you should have your double colors by then. And the Pestilent Haze. That's the one, like, ooh, maybe not. For playing the double Radiant Fountain, because you definitely want to have both double black for Pestilent Haze on turn 3 or 4 to save your bacon. Pestilent Haze is also, like, it's very awkward in his deck right now because it kills his freebooters, his Mistral Singer. Or no, it won't kill the Mistral Singer because of prowess. That's good interaction. It kills the Sky Scanners. Uh, So it kills a lot of his flyers that he wants to be tide skimmering with, and that'll you might have to make the tough decision of do I wipe board and give my opponent back a Kitesail freebooter or not? Yeah. Okay, so he's capturing his stuff, and it looks like this is what he's playing. So okay, so what he did was he cut the. Let's go back a bit. Kind of missed it. So he cut the Read the Tides, which I think isn't great. Like if you can get to 6 mana, one of the things you're either going to want to refill or set your opponent back a bunch. That's what Read the Tide does. Uh, so, yeah, I don't like cutting the Read the Tides here. And it looked like he went right ahead and just played his mana base with no Radiant Fountains, which I think is a mistake. Yeah, so as far as navigating that draft, I think Nick did a pretty decent job. I think that I didn't really see that much in other colors. I was just like, yes, we must be playing these colors. Uh, like even like also playing green or playing green instead of another color. I don't. There just wasn't that much. Obviously, you can't say too much with if you pick these two colors and don't see much of anything else. Like I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, I think that was pretty good overall. Um, the 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 biggest miss I think was the obsessive stitcher pick. Uh And even then, like I say, like, oh well, that's really easy to say in hindsight because he's blue black now, but I still think that my logic was justified at the time. Uh, yeah, I'm curious on how he ended up doing with this. Wait, this is a different deck. Oh dear. Oh, he went 0-3. That's ouch. That's definitely not an 0-3 deck. I think that deck is like a 4-3, but ouch. It looks like he did do another draft in this video. Maybe I'll take a look at that later. I don't know. I think this is gonna be funner if I could get odds of him where he actually speaks, which he didn't this time. But whatever.